Okay, starting off here, we have glycolysis. This takes place in the cytoplasm, symbolized by this green background. Here we have our glucose molecule. Gray is a carbon. These are electrons. Yellow is a hydrogen. Starting off, first we have the molecule splits into two pyruvates. Those are here. Then you have your NAD plus come in. It takes two electrons, like this, and a hydrogen. There you have that. And the energy from this facilitates the addition of a phosphate group to an ADP, making an ADP, or an ATP, sorry. And once again, so you have two ATP coming out of this process, as well as your two pyruvates and your NADH. Okay, we have now moved on to pyruvate oxidation. As you can see by the background change, we're now in the mitochondria. We have our pyruvate molecule here, and we have an NAD plus that's going to come in. Actually, wait. First, a carbon is going to break off and be exhaled as carbon dioxide, so that's gone away. Then you have your NAD plus that comes in, removes a hydrogen and two electrons, making NADH. Now you're left with this, which your coenzyme comes in, attaches itself, and makes acetyl-CoA. Still in the mitochondria, we've got the Krebs cycle going on. So here's our acetyl-CoA. The carbons split off, they're exhaled as CO2. Then you have another NAD plus coming in, taking hydrogen and two electrons. And there's another NADH. And from that, you get another ATP created by adding a phosphate group to ADP, using the energy from that reaction. Now we're on to the electron transport chain. So here we have some NADHs. They come along, they drop their hydrogens and their electrons. And once they do this, they are reverted back to NAD pluses, and they are sent elsewhere to be reused and turned back into NADH and so on. So you have your hydrogens over here, and you got your electrons here. So here's your electron transport chain, and your electrons are going to be moving down that, pulled by an increasingly more electronegative force, those being increasingly more electronegative atoms pulling it down. The energy from these flowing electrons is used to pump these hydrogen ions through this pump into the intermembrane space on the other side of this wall. So here's the pump. Those are coming through. So you have your hydrogens on this side, and the electronegative forces continue to pull electrons through the chain until they reach water, which is the most, or not water, sorry, oxygen, which is the most electronegative of the atoms pulling them through. So once there, they pick up an electron and two hydrogens, and with that you get water, which is exhaled, another byproduct. So now we're left with all these hydrogen atoms out here, kind of trapped in this intermembrane space. And the only option for them is to diffuse down their concentration gradient. And they do this, and as they do, they go through this protein channel known as ATP synthase. And yeah, they just go through there. And as this happens, the energy from it is used to synthesize more and more ATP. So ADP to ATP, ADP to ATP. And for the key, gray cube is carbon, red is an electron. Here's your hydrogen ion. Here's your NAD plus, your NADH with electrons and hydrogen attached, your ADP, your ATP with an extra phosphate, and your oxygen. And this was the chain with the pumps. This one's for the hydrogens going out. Here they're going in, creating more ATP.